Hey everyone, it's baze.djunkiii transmitting from Hamburg, Germany, back with a new video and back with my chart haul video for November 2K24. Haven't shot a video in quite a while and it feels like my channel is slowing down in terms of content because, well, not many promos coming in and I'm way too busy working at the nightlife venue and also working on new releases on my labels. So Free Breaks Forward 02 is in the pressing plant and hopefully in the process of being manufactured right now. Release date will not be this year, but is like postponed to January 31st, 2K25 for a reason, if everything works out, because now is like Christmas and stuff or Christmas hustle for the next 6 or 8 weeks, and we don't want to get involved in that, and like releasing a record like in early December doesn't make sense so much because well, the distribution company is like closing down in like mid-December, basically until like I don't know, first week of January, end of first week of January. So like releasing a record in between won't like generate proper sales and stuff. But in terms of sales, I got news. At this point, like I got the distribution statements for October, and I've reached a point in which the distributor has sold like more records in the first 10 months of the year 2024 than in the entire year of 2023. So this is progress for the label, and I'm not far away, or we're not far away from reaching the point of like overall like having sold the exact amount of number of records that we sold in the last year. So which is interesting and also a good thing because, well, shows that we like release good music and stuff, and also shows that running a label which has less promo effort as possible is still a feasible thing, and I hope to up the scale and or upscale the entire label operation in the next year, and I'm working on that. Also a reason why I'm working like a lot in the like concert venue I work at. But now let's go to the records I liked over the past weeks, 4 in total I guess. The first one has been a classic since 1992. CJ Bolland, Camargue and Tokyo. This is one of the records that well, intrigued me since I ever heard it, and it's like did the same with many people. Released on the Belgium Strom label, or re-released on the Belgium Strom label. And here's a nice sticker. And here's a little bit of a text like regarding this record, and the Tokyo track on the B side is unreleased. Don't like the cover too much because it's way too thin. It's like a disco sleeve with a print, which is like pretty tight when it comes to holding vinyl. But yeah, talking Camargue, which is like an amazing record still. This is something that is pretty unique in terms that it sits in between of house and trance, kind of. Is neither of both, but like appeals to both audiences. Is very melodic and playful and airy and uplifting, and like a feel-good record overall. Isn't techno, even though it's like 4/4, and I guess was originally released on the R&S label, run by Renat and Sabine van der Papillier, I guess, out of Belgium. And this is some really emotional stuff, has been touching me ever since, and it gives me a good vibe whenever I hear it. So this is one of those records that I missed in my record collection, so it was like a no-brainer to add this. As soon as I saw it being re-released, the first pressing of the re-release was sold out pretty quickly, so this is, I guess, the second one. But no matter what, it's like an amazing record. But the sleeves, this is one of the problems with like sleeves nowadays, also with a lot of drum and bass releases, that they are like super tight, super thin, and I don't know, I don't feel that. I need at least a 2mm spine here, and not like the kind of like, it's not really flimsy, but like way too tight disco sleeve operation. But yeah, CJ Bolland produced this in cooperation with Cisco Ferreira, which is better known as the Advent. Now solo, was with another partner for the Advent project in terms of techno since the late 90s, and also a really like interesting, like good producer, I guess, or has been in the past. I'm not a real fan of his newer stuff because it's way down the business techno route, and I'm not into that. Really. The next one is on the Mighty Metalheads label, the Raptor EP. by DJ Trace and HLZ. I don't know too much about HLZ, to be honest, but DJ Trace is a legendary figure, also behind or releasing on the No U-Turn label, which is like one of the seminal drum and bass labels that were like pioneers of coming out of jungle and going down the darker, like heavier, threatening drum and bass route. And this is like 3 tracks on here: Raptor, Eclipse and Parasite, which in their titles alone are like very darkish kind of, released on this beautiful crystal clear vinyl. Like really crystal clear. I guess you can see my face somehow, or like my body behind that. Really interesting stuff, which I would describe as really timeless, dark drum and bass, like 2-step, tech-step drum and bass, which could be played in 20 years and has been released like this 20 years ago. Like 20 years ago, I would have said that is like would have been suitable for the No U-Turn label, because they went down that route of like super techy, futuristic, threatening, dark drum and bass, but not in terms of like weighing in brutal aim and breaks, but it's more like the very clean production and the like a kind of ominous sound and like huge bass lines, like overwhelming bass lines that make this record interesting. And as with the Metalheadz label, ever since, not every release is a thing that I really like and need, but overall, over the past like 25 years or 30 years, they have provided a lot of quality in terms of drum and bass, and that's why I check their stuff out every time I see a new record, even though I don't buy like every record, because, well, I don't play out enough to buy like every record I like, and this would have been like my want list on Discogs, like went up to like 12,500 records I still need, like desperately need, plus a few thousand that are stored in my head. So well, you can imagine what kind of money this would make. The next one is interesting. Low Dubs, which is a label I haven't followed for ages. They're coming out of Portland, and they are like associated with the Anthem record store. And this is Silent Cubes, their Sound and Motion EP. Interesting with this rounded corners here as well, which I've seen in 7 inches as well, like recently. And yeah, Low Dubs, when dubstep started, like 2005, 2006-ish, I bought like 2 or 3 of the very first releases, one by Starkey, one other by, I don't know, which was like very classic dubstep. Like the Starkey one was very experimental, because Starkey comes out of the, like, not really breakcore, but experimental free breaks, unformatted break scene, and like went down the kind of grimy, dubstepy route. But this is like, well, a thing that is also like exclusively distributed right now by the distribution company I work at. This is why I've come across this. And what this is the return of like intricate, intelligent bass music. This is like post 2-step, post garage, some dubstep influences in there. Like one remix, the remix by Moy on the B side is like kind of like breaksteppy, which I haven't heard like in a while. So breakstep used to be the genre that came kind of set like in between like UK garage and breakbeat garage and new school breaks. So it was like more garagey, but not really breaks, so not that hard, but like kind of heavier and like cleaner in production, and it wasn't like that swingy kind of as 2-step was. But yeah, this is very interesting stuff. And the label has another one out by Spooky, I guess, right now, Clarty Steppers, which I like, but I don't own yet. But this is like for the bass music heads, which are into like atmospheric, but also like dance floor, like suitable, like intricately produced beats and a little bit of IDM in there. So Silent Cubes is a good one, and it's the first, I guess, Low Dubs release I've bought since 2007, I guess. So there's a 17-year gap in my collection. I guess I only went down the digital route for a while, and then like relied on hand cut like dubplate things, last cut dubplates, and now went into pressing vinyl again. So this is good stuff, really interesting. And the last one is something for the experimental music heads and for the Llama friends. So this is Vian and Matsbo, inside Richard Serra sculptures. So Merzbau, of course, you might know if you're into noise music and experimental music and all of that. And Petrovian is a like very busy ambient artist, and they somehow like worked their way into sculptures by that guy called Richard Serra, and did like live recordings there and processed them and did what Merzbau does best. So this is like proper noise and experimental noise, sometimes very surprisingly harmonic for what Merzbau is known for, but also in terms very harsh and eruptive, and like 2 long tracks on the record, like both like spanning 21 minutes or something like that. So this is me going back to my like roots in terms of my radio show that was called Die Nachtschwestern back in the day, which is now like long time defunct, but was mainly focused on electroacoustic music, noise, field recordings, atonal collage stuff, and found sound and whatever. So this is a good addition to the collection I already have, and I guess I see myself going back to more experimental music and also to more like hardcore and gabber in the future, because I've bought like quite a few records out of that genres, and I guess I will have a deep dive into that like experimental stuff more and leave the dance floor friendly house whatever stuff alone for what I buy right now to enjoy, and maybe like also in terms of radio shows. So I've recorded a pretty heavy drum and bass mix for one of my future radio shows on Radio Flouka, and I consider doing like some breakcore stuff as well, like for the radio thing, and also my probably hardcore and gabber. And so I'm diving into that realm, and yeah, I got a booking request recently from a club, but or like a loose request to if I would be interested to play at a certain event, which didn't came to be because they didn't respond properly, like all promoters do these days. So, and turned out I'd been to the club in the meantime, and found they were like running a like woke awareness policy thing at the door, with like people getting like a long speech of how to behave and stuff, and which I totally dislike, and I feel not welcome if people like tell me, well, you are a possible predator and you are a possible cause of unrest and unruliness, and so this comes across very strange to me when clubs do this in general. So I decided to turn that request down, because I'm not following that policy, and I rely on people like being properly minded, and if they go out to a nightclub audience and to a nightclub as an audience, that they are like still able to behave properly, and if a club feels that they gotta address this as a problem, they should think about their audience and not like trying to push people away. So no, I'm not playing at those places, and that's what the news is, or what my like decision is regarding that kind of stuff, because well, I am coming from the old school, and I remember in rave clubs in the 90s, like girls were running topless and nobody even bothered, looked at them and stuff. It was like normal thing, and it was all peace and love between ravers and stuff. So maybe the scene has gotten a little too big and too like commercial and whatever. So we need to like push those people out again, or maybe shrink that down a little, and to get back to common sense again, I guess, if it's a thing still in some way, I guess. So, but now I'm starting to ramble, and gonna go out into editing mode. See you on the next one, soon to come probably. See you on the dance floor or whatever. Bass Junkie out for now.